Definitely. I feel like we're gonna do a Stacey Curtis. We're gonna get an extra win every time. But no, it feels good. I think we could have had two other wins, while we're here. I guess against Quebec and against Wildcard Cooey. So it doesn't really feel like a 2-5 kind of event. I think we've played quite well. We've had our moments. Obviously, we weren't the sharpest, but I'm proud of our play. I think it's much better than last time around, even though they could have had some wins in 2018 too, a few more. But we feel good, and I think a lot to work on and a lot to take that we're doing right. I think that it's going to bode well for us in our future, appearances. So 100%.
Provincial rival Brad Gushu, like how important is that one to you guys? Is there bragging rights on the line, and it would be nice kind of to stop his reign a little bit here, possibly?
Yeah, it would be nice. Though we do want him to win the event. Don't get me wrong. It'd be nice to get a win at him before he gets to the championship pool, because I got a feeling we're not going to be joining him at the championship pool. Uh, but no, I mean, ton of bragging rights on the line. We want to have a really good game. We know we can give them a game, and we just have to come out firing on all cylinders. And it should be a good one. It's going to be a ton of fun, and the newfies are going to be going mad for it. So it'll be great. Well, representation is so important. I don't think people value how important that is. John is a great friend of mine, and this is the first time I ever got to play John. And having two openly LGBTQ plus skips playing against each other at the highest level of any sport, curling is incredible. And I know growing up, I didn't get to see, people that reflected myself, in sports and who were open and proud about that. And I'm glad that myself and John and, some others, are. And I think that curling is a great sport for that. And obviously, we need more diversity in this sport. But I think we're moving in the right direction, and eons, even since I was a kid. 100%. I think that it's an incredibly valid statement because it's true. There's a lot of gay and lesbian, bisexual, LGBT plus curlers, and it's great to see. And it's I think young kids are gonna look up to some of us and say, you know what, it's great. We got people there like ourselves, and we can connect with them, and then we know that we can play in the same level as anybody, and it doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, you can play, right, and you can compete. Yes, I mean, 100%. I mean, seeing a top level skip, openly gay is huge, and I always admired John and always looked up to him, as a curler and as a role model, and hopefully, both of us can now do the same, and I think it's great. I mean, John is a great guy, great friend, and it's awesome having both of us here.
Yeah, I mean, this is absolutely unreal to say the least. I think we saw the day we got here, that memory popped up on Facebook with myself and my brother Evan at the Brier in 2010 when it was in Halifax with Johnny Moe. I mean, the first day we got here, we were here for practice, and the first Brier I remember following, it was when Glenn Howard won with Craig Saville, Brent Lang, Richard Hart, and then Danielle Inglis came over to me. She said, do you know Glenn Howard? I just sort of stopped, like I was deer in the headlights totally. Like I wouldn't have ever expected that I'd get here at the age of 20. Like I've this has been an incredible experience, top to bottom, and it just I guess totally fuels the fire to get back here again.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good and bad. You're obviously rested, but at the same time, you haven't played games. So when you sweep hard for a couple games, you're probably going to get sore than you're used to, right? So we tried to make sure we focused on that a bit in practice. And I mean, we had a great 3 weeks of practice coming into it. So I think we were mentally fresh for sure, and as good a shape as we could have been in physically, I guess.
I think that we got I think the draw that we got was great because, yesterday was a really nice to have the day off. We were used it to kind of really, our fifth player is wonderful. He's a fifth, he's a chiropractor and physio, and he was, he's been working on us to keep us fresh all week. So, you know, we obviously have a grinding part of our week coming up, but we feel, you know, as good, if not better, than day one.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know now that everyone's using the same brooms. For sure, it does make a difference. Not always, depends on the ice surface, but you know, the best sweepers are still the best sweepers, and you still have to throw it good. It's on this ice has been great to play all week, and it's not like you can just lob them out there and sweep to curl and expect to make it. So you still got to be precise. It does help you, you know, maybe if you need, I don't know, half a centimeter of curl on some shots. So it is a factor, especially if you got good sweeping.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, like I was watching Wayne Madaw's game yesterday, and he threw a shot and he thought he was going to flash it. And I think they almost nosed it because they were able to carve it. So there is still a, you know, a significant amount that that you can do with the brooms. And personally, I'm a bit of a purist, and I think that, you know, I feel like if you know, the best shot maker should be able to have the highest percentages and the best shots out there. So, you know, I think that, you know, that, I don't know, I guess it's something that we've adapted to, and I've adapted to, because you have to. And I think we handle it very well, just like a lot of the other top teams. But a little bit of me wishes that, you know, it was a bit more of a purist game and a purist throwers game still.
Yeah, I mean, I would think so. I mean, we were playing totally different positions back then. We were kind of a lot younger, and when we first started playing together, we probably didn't know each other very well. And you know, now, even though we haven't played together for a long time, probably gotten to know John a lot better playing against him and hanging out with him off the ice over the years when we were always playing against him, it seemed. So it's totally different, but you know, it's working well for us, and it's a good fit.
And I think, you know, I think our, you know, I got a ton of respect for Kev and everything he's done. And Kev's the type of player that it looks like he gets better with age. And, you know, he's, you know, he doesn't say a ton out there. And, you know, you get the question all like, what kind of guy is Kev? And, you know, to me, he's just a really good natural leader. And that is one dynamic that kind of changed on our team, because I was the skip before. So I had to kind of be that guy. And that was in the early 2000s. And now it's changed. And, you know, the bottom line is we just want to win. And I think we fit in, you know, the team dynamic is wonderful. And it's kind of like it's been a kind of a seamless fit, and it's felt great. It feels great to be playing together again. Oui, bien sûr, you know, tous les matchs est tellement important avec ce format. You know, une perdue contre un vraiment bon équipe. Peut-être tu as perdu la première place. Donc, you know, c'est vraiment important pour préparer pour chaque match la même chose, et jamais take une équipe lightly.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that was a big game for us, but I mean, 6 wins is, you know, we're still miles away from where we need to. But I mean, you don't want to I mean, it sounds stupid, but you know, longer we can go without losing, the better, especially if you can knock off some of the good teams. So we obviously we're still in a good spot with the win, but we got another tough game coming up tonight against Ontario.
Thanks.
Yeah, for sure. It's worked out good. I mean, BJ and I worked well together. Obviously, he was in the house a couple of years ago when we won the Brier. But so it's been, once we added John, this was the kind of the lineup where we decided to go. And you know, BJ's been great with that. And yeah, these days you need basically 2/3 in your middle, and that's what we have. And as far as dynamic, you know, BJ still has a lot of input on the team, a lot of respect for him strategy wise in that. So it's just been, you know, it's been a great fit, and everyone's kind of really embraced their roles, I guess, and it's been working good for us.
And BJ's numbers are incredible this week.
Yeah, he's playing awesome. No, I mean, to be honest, we had high expectations just because we had 3 weeks of awesome practice coming into this. Individually and as a team, BJ came out early, and we have great ice at the Glencoe, so we were hardly missing shots for a few weeks. So we thought we could just come in here and keep doing that, but it wasn't that easy. Obviously, we've been playing good. I've today was the first game where I thought, myself individually, I've left some shots out there the other games, and today was a really good game for me, which is good. So I mean, we've had high expectations, and they're definitely not going to get any lower now.
Felt really good. We're kind of a journeyman curling squad, right? So we've spent a fair amount of time in the C bracket in a cash event, so we know what must-win games are kind of where we are in most fields. So it felt really good though. It was we played a really solid game, and it's great to get the win, stay alive.
Yeah, it's definitely added a layer to the game where sweepers have become a lot stronger. We've missed a lot of shots in the past while sweeping what we thought was correctly. So it's added a layer of difficulty, but it's also added a way of making shots, and it's good to see out there that we're able to make shots off the sweeping. It really gives a nice little pat in the back for the front end.
Ah, définitivement. C'est sûr, l'équipe de John, c'est une des meilleures équipes au monde. Fait que pour nous autres, c'est sûr, après hier, la côte est à pic. Il faut monter pour qualifier pour le prochain round. Mais au moins avec ça, ça nous donne une chance. Ça nous donne une chance de jouer contre Koui avec une chance de rentrer dans le pool demain. Fait que c'est une énorme victoire pour nous autres. Bon, les autres sont pas ici pour perdre des games. C'est sûr, c'est une équipe qui a des ambitions de gagner le tournoi. C'est pour eux autres, toutes les victoires sont importantes. Fait que je suis sûr qu'ils vont venir pour jouer.
Merci.
Not a lot. I think we've pretty much had it worse than anyone. I say that reluctantly, but I mean, until January 8th, so from September to January 8th, we were not allowed to be 4 on the ice together. We were maximum 2 on the ice together, so we could only practice. So that's all we could do until January the 8th, and not even knowing if we were going to the Brier or not. Then from January 8th on, everything was locked down completely. So we weren't even allowed to practice. We couldn't even get an exemption from the Quebec government to practice. Like even if I was alone in the curling club by myself, I wasn't allowed to be there throwing curling rocks. So it really forced us to become, I called it practice ninjas, sort of sneaking around, trying to practice in the dark of night and hidden corners and people's backyard skating rinks and wherever we could try to get some practice in. So obviously not ideal. We did a lot of Zoom calls. We did a lot of mental preparation. And when things did open up the week before, we had a chance to at least get a couple of times on the ice before, but that was it. Oh, it's obviously great. I mean, it was great to see Lottie 2 weeks ago at the Scotties. We're big fans, obviously. So it was great to see her win and to see her doing well. The Quebec needs it. Quebec needs curling that to get some media. I mean, we really have to fight to get any kind of media coverage in Quebec. So anytime we can get our names mentioned on RDS or on TSN, anytime there's attention paid to curling, it's good for the game. So we're happy to be doing that. Yeah. I mean, I think we were a little late to the party, honestly. I mean, I wasn't playing with these guys then when it started happening, and with my other team, we just weren't, we didn't catch on as quick as anybody. So it's funny, we were using the hardline brooms without knowing how to use them, and people were accusing us of cheating, and we're like, cheating? I don't even know what the hell I'm doing. So it was a weird experience at the time. But obviously, we've gotten a lot better at it. We practiced. I mean, everybody had to figure out how to do it. And so we've gotten a lot better at it now, obviously. And I think everybody understands it. It's part of the game. So it's really quickly ingrained itself into how we play now, and understanding that the low guy can keep it straight and the outside guy can maybe make it curl at the end. So.
Hey, you guys got to understand Mike's from the corn broom era.
Ouch. Yeah, you can directionally sweep with a rink rat.
Yeah.
That's what I've just
No, not really. We don't change our game plan too much. For us, our real focus over the next 3 games as we get into the championship round is just to be as precise as possible. And you have to do that whether you're playing, Tyler and PEI or Brad or Brendan and, 2 of the top teams in the world. So I thought we did a good job today. I thought we played great. It may have been our best game of the week. You know what? It's probably been a little bit better than our record says. I think we had a very tough schedule starting out. Probably had the toughest start of anybody in the field. But we missed a couple of shots. We could have easily been, at this point, been 6-0. But we had a bad 10th end against Kevin and had a untimely pick against Matt. So, we're not far off. And certainly I think over the next couple of games, we'll hopefully build some momentum as we enter that championship round.
Well, it definitely made it easier in those, control weight hits and even on draws to get the line right. Same time, you can overuse it too and forget about just, sweeping for weight and getting the weight right. So it's a bit of a tool. Obviously, it's not as effective as it was the first couple of years when we had those cheater brooms or whatever you would call it. But it's still a tool you can use to your advantage if you've got strong sweepers.
Yeah. I think all you need to do is look at the stats. I think if you look at the stats 10 years ago at the Brier, they're not at the level they are right now. It does give you a little bit more forgiveness on the outside of the broom. So, if you can manage it, throw the right weight, throw a controllable weight, whether that's hack or board or even a heavy draw, you can manipulate it and get it going a bit. I think it's here to stay because I don't know how you get rid of that in the game. But yeah, it's made a lot of shots easier than they were years ago. Yeah, I think we've done a very good job of preparing, and there, to be honest, there weren't a whole lot of unknowns. We had a couple secret weapons before we came in here, in Jocelyn and Laura, who gave us a good idea what was going to be expected when we came in here. So, learning from the Scotties, we were able to prepare and know exactly what the routines were, what things were going to look like. We've stayed at the hotel before at a Grand Slam event. We played in this facility before as well. So there was a lot of familiarity. I think the only difference is that kind of loneliness that happens earlier on when you're by yourself. But, fortunately we got all the negative tests back and we're able to get together now as a team, which is going to make things easier as we go through the rest of the week.